Hey, y'all. Hey, and welcome to another episode of Dear God Love Me, the podcast. I'm your host, Ro McKenzie, aka your favorite cousin. And here at DGLM, everything we do is built upon vulnerability, intimacy, and sincerity with God. I have a very special guest with me here tonight, but this young lady is all of the things. She's a preacher. She is a teacher in her own right. She is in marketplace. She is in community service. She is just a phenom of all phenoms. I love her. I respect her. I admire her. And I can't wait to have this dialogue. So let's bring her into the studio and introduce to you Miss Yolanda Johnson.
Hey, how's it going? How you
Hi.
doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I am, let me see, because everyone always says good all the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
try to say something else. So right now, I am full of joy. I am excited. I am, I mean, my heart is through the roof with that introduction right now. I'm just gonna be honest, right? Right. You introduced me so lovely. My heart is like, but I am optimistic. I am incredibly optimistic right now. I'm excited to be here. I told you before, this is actually my first podcast. People ask
Yes,
me all the time, but you know, I'm just excited, girl. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. And shout out to emotional intelligence. She said, I'm a skip good. I'm not just good. I am joyful. I am happy. I am
Yeah.
ecstatic. She gave us all the color wheel of emotions. I love that. I
There
love
you
that.
go.
Because I'm one
Yeah.
of those that's like, I'm okay. And like my friends be like, girl, we're still doing that. I'm just okay. But
I know. We're so used to it. It's just something that we say all the time. So whenever people ask me, I'm so intentional. And even if I don't feel good, today I'm not too sure. Those people,
right.
but
How
I'm
much time you
excited, sis.
got?
I'm excited.
Good. I'm happy you decided to join us.
Of course.
Let's just start out by you introducing yourself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are.
So now, sis, I do a lot.
You
So
do.
let's just start with, so first and foremost, I'm a lover of people. I love people. I love purpose. And with that, the natural and the spiritual all intertwine.
Mhm.
So for work, I am a department director and I oversee a shelter department for homeless and domestic violence and, focusing on the mental health population and things of that nature is where I specialize. And so basically a human service professional.
Yes.
And then in the natural, I'm a PK, so just about every title you can hold as a preacher's kid growing up in the church, I have been it, I have done it, got the credentials and all that other stuff. Um, got a few degrees on the wall and a whole bunch of other things, but I tell people all the time, none of that means nothing if I can't connect to people.
Yeah.
I'm a board certified Christian counselor, certified life coach, master's degree, certified chaplain, all these other things, but it means nothing if I can't connect to people.
That's
So
true.
that's who I am.
I love it. I love it. So our topic for this evening is forgiveness. And though we know that as believers, as lovers of Christ, we are supposed to forgive, we kind of frame it and make it seem like it's just something that is ingrained in us. We need to do this, mandatory, all of those things. But it's something that I know for a fact we all struggle with. And so before we get into the depths of it, I did want to just do a quick little icebreaker on the topic and do some word association. So when I say the word forgiveness, give me the first three words that come to your mind.
Mm, heart,
Oh,
release, freedom.
I, you know what? I just love everything
You
about this so
you
far.
asked and I answered.
I love this. I knew I was going to love it, but I really love it. My heart is so full already. Okay. You said heart,
Mm-hmm. Release
release, and
and
freedom.
freedom. Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
is that's everything. That's all encompassing, right? Because it's matters of the heart. When we do it, it's a release. And when we're released from it, we're free. Okay. This is going to be so good. Let me stop saying
It's
stuff.
gonna be good. I'm excited.
Me too. So there's a common phrase that we hear all the time, right?
Mhm.
I'll forgive you, but I'm not going to forget it. We hear it in movies. We hear it in songs. We hear it amongst conversations. We hear it in the church. We hear it at work. We hear it everywhere. What
Mhm.
do you agree or disagree with that? What does it mean to you? And do you think that is something that we as believers can adopt and govern ourselves by?
So you'll see me take a lot of deep breaths
Okay.
before I speak, because it's a very in-depth question, strong question, and I'm going to try to unpack it really quick, as quickly as possible, or as directly as possible. Let me
Yeah.
say that. I don't want to cheat the people, so I won't do it quick, but I forgive you, but I won't forget. So I think people that say that phrase haven't actually stepped into the seat of forgiveness yet, who say that phrase. I do want to make it clear, though, that we're human.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're human, we're built with memory capacity. You're going to hear that my psychology stuff weave in, if you don't mind.
I do.
No, seriously, we're built with the capacity to hold memory. It is not wrong for a person to remember. It's what we do with the memory that makes it wrong. So the first part, I forgive you, but I won't forget, it's as if a person is saying, I forgive you, but I'm going to keep replaying the memory. Those who keep replaying the memory are those who haven't fully forgiven. Again, I'm not saying you're wrong to remember, right? We hold memory in our brain, explicit memory, implicit memories, short-term memory. All of these just sit up in that hippocampus up here.
Right.
So for us to tell someone to forget is telling them, I want you to stop the functionality of your hippocampus.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
Right.
In fact, that's the evidence of a healthy brain to call on memory and to remember. But when we, and so in a natural sense, the memory, okay, you remember. But it's, what am I doing with that memory?
What am I doing?
Is that memory driving me to sit in a seat of bitterness? Is it driving me to sit in a seat of unforgiveness? Is that memory causing me to pass time with hatred?
Right.
What is that memory doing for me? We're not telling you to necessarily forget it happened. And then one might say, well, Micah is 7 saying that God says, I'm going to throw it in the sea of forgetfulness. Of course, that's God. He throws it in the sea of forgetfulness because if he threw it out the shore, you can go back and get it.
Right.
But if you threw your sin into the sea, you can't find that thing. Right? But we're not God.
Right.
We are human and we're built with a memory capacity. But that is why we need the Savior.
Yep.
Because what we can't do, he can.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not that I can't, because I can't tell my brain, hey, forget that. It never happened. And there's a difference, I think, between, because sometimes when traumatic things happen or we are offended or someone hurts us or does us wrong or something like that, it's like we dissociate from it and our mind creates blocks, but it doesn't mean that it's gone. We've covered it, we've suppressed it, we've stuffed it down, but it's still there. And so I love that you said it's not having the memory that's the issue. It's what we do with that memory. And so that made me think of so many different things in my own life. I think we might need a part 2, because if I don't stay focused, then we'll be somewhere over in 10 different topics talking about the 11,000 different other things.
Sure, sure,
But that was beautifully stated. It's not having the memory, y'all. It's what you do with the memory. So if you're ruminating
sure,
and you are telling yourself you forgave them, but you still treating them away because of it,
sure.
you're still holding it over their head.
Mhm,
You're still giving them a clenched teeth greeting when you see them, or you're avoiding
mhm,
them, acting like you gotta go to the bathroom every time they come over by your side of church.
mhm.
Whatever it is, we have to be mindful of what we're doing with the memory. And so,
It's the dwelling.
oh,
It's
that
it's
dwelling is
it's
killer.
it's it's the dwelling on it. And a lot of us dwell on it because it helps us to pass time. But you're really not passing time. What you're doing is suffocating. That's what's really happening.
Absolutely.
Naturally things are stored and we can easily get triggered by things if we're not completely healed.
Right.
And that memory can definitely sit on the forefront if we don't experience healing and
Right.
processing.
Right.
I think that's the part that we lead out. And this is the other part, Ro, about like memory. When it comes to memory, it also teaches us caution.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go back to the idea that it's not necessarily a bad thing, because again, it's our human nature, right, to have this memory. It teaches us caution. It strengthens us to know the enemy and the intentions,
Right.
to know the tactics. If I flip it on the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just helps us with caution.
Right. So how do I know that I have fully and properly forgiven someone?
I think you have already mentioned some of the examples. You haven't really forgiven. Let's just keep it simple. If that person did something to offend you and they walk into the service or they walk into the job or just wherever, the family barbecue, and you know that little feeling you get right there in your stomach. Come on, come on. That little knot that starts to
Uh-huh.
come in,
Uh-huh.
that's evidence right there. That's the body telling you, because it's not just a mental and a spiritual, it's all of it. It's mental, it's spiritual, it's the physical part of us, the physiology, right? You feel that knot in your stomach, baby, you ain't forgive.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you see them, you start replaying the video in your head, you didn't forgive them. You start with the changing the experiences. So if I loved pizza, but the person that hurt me was with me when I ate pizza, so now every time there's pizza, all of a sudden I swap the experience and now I hate pizza too. So now I associate pizza with that person, and then it goes into a rabbit hole of everything they did in a huge memory of mess. So those are just the simple signs
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that we have an experience on forgiveness. This idea of a constant replaying of what they've done.
Right. What does that healing look like? Or what is the process
It
to
looks
get to
like,
that
well, you
healing?
just answered it. You just took the words out of my mouth. The healing looks like processing.
Okay.
The healing looks like processing. So remember when I said, we're human first before anything,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think a lot of times we try to separate process from transaction. And I think it was you that mentioned it to me before. Um, is forgiveness, is it a process or is it a transaction? It's both, bro. It's both. It's both because it takes place during the journey. So when we talk about forgiveness, forgiveness is a process because it consists of a transaction on your part, on my part.
Mm-hmm.
And we think of forgiveness just in general, if you just throw the definition out there, right? To release, to cancel that debt, right? What it really is I know you wronged me and I'm giving up my right to wrong you back.
Mm-hmm.
I know you hurt me and I'm giving up my right to hurt you back. It doesn't mean that it didn't happen and doesn't exist. I'm just giving up my right to retaliate. That's what
Mhm.
forgiveness is. So it's both process and it's transactional. Why? Because the transaction is between you and yourself first,
Mhm.
right? Because the hardest person at times is to forgive ourselves. I'm a witness. And then it's between you and that person.
Mhm.
Then it's between you and that experience,
Mhm.
right? And then finally, it's between you and God.
Mhm.
So it's both process and transaction. You have all these transactions happening, and we have to take it step by step. So this idea that forgiveness has to be immediately is probably incredibly unrealistic, especially with the weight that comes with pain and hurt.
Right.
And I'll just use a very strong example. When you have people who have experienced, for example, sexual abuse, which is
Mhm.
people I work with on a daily basis, and then you have someone who just had their toe stepped on in a church service. We're quick to go, oh, sorry for stepping on your toe. All right, no problem. Sorry. Okay, cool. But the person that experienced sexual abuse, do you think they'll be as forgiving as quickly as the person who got their toe stepped?
Mm.
Probably not,
Right.
which is evidence that forgiveness is both process and a transaction
Right.
between us and that person, us and ourself, us and the experience, and then us and God.
Mhm.
We fail when we don't process.
Yeah.
We fail when we don't take the time to acknowledge our experience, not just acknowledging the experience, but acknowledging how it affected us,
Yeah.
how it made us feel, how it affected us. And a lot of times, if we're not careful, and this is why your circle and the people who are around you matter, because those who sincerely care
Mhm.
will assist you with the process,
Oh yeah.
will assist you with the processing, will participate in that active listening, will validate those feelings, but then will also allow you to experience these emotions, but at the same time, help you to get out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can literally go on and on and on about situations and being portrayed, right? Being the person that needed to forgive, and then being the person that I had to, ask for forgiveness, and then I had to dish it out.
Mhm.
And I've been on both sides of the coin,
Right.
and it is a process. But the question is, do we actually want to get out of it? Do we actually want to get out of it? Do we want to release what we've been carrying? Do we understand that our purpose demands greater? That we
Right.
deserve a quality life
Right.
that's full of healing, that's full of breakthrough, that's full of enough? Do
Mhm.
we understand how significant we are and how incredible we are and how much Christ really loves us? And
Right.
he's
Right.
willing to assist us in getting through it?
Right.
But it's a bit of both, sis. Because in church we do this thing where, oh, baby, just pray about it.
Oh.
Yeah, but it hurts now.
Right.
you know, it hurts right now.
Right.
And I don't think I can connect right now.
Right. And I think that goes back to even what you said about finding comfort and holding on to some of those things. I think
Mm,
sometimes when we look at the offense and we look at the hurt and the pain, even though that's hurt and it's pain and offense, it's comfortable and it's familiar to us. And so we
mhm,
cozy up with it. Whereas if I'm looking at it as both, like you said, transactional and a process, because I
mm,
heard and I've seen studies about the transaction part being immediate, which speaks to what you said about um uh, forfeiting or relinquishing my right to retaliate, right?
mhm,
Vengeance doesn't belong to me. So I'm not going to get you back. I'm going to choose to walk in humility, even though I could
mm,
justify doing what you did to me or reciprocating, right? And so the transaction is I'm going to apply the forgiveness that that Jesus gave to all of us, I'm going to apply it to this too and choose to not retaliate, but I
Mm-hmm.
still have to process through that hurt and that pain. That's what it sounds like you're really speaking to, is both of those things being true at
Sure,
the same time.
sure.
Um,
Because pain leaves an impression.
oh yes.
It leaves a signature. It leaves an impression, it leaves a signature, it leaves an impact, it leaves an imprint. That's the reality of pain. That's the reality of sitting in the seat of offense, and when somebody harms you, when someone has done something to you that you strongly feel they shouldn't have done. Yeah, it leaves an incredible impact on us. And what we do with that will determine what our future looks like. I mean, at the
Absolutely.
end of the day, we just have to make up in our mind, do we want to live?
Right.
Do we want to live?
Yep.
Do we want to be free? And I'm not saying in a way where, oh, it's going to happen immediately, but it does happen when you relinquish your control. And then, and I also think, sis, like, if we really focus on what unforgiveness does to us, maybe we'll be a little bit more willing to quickly do it and jump in it.
What's
Like,
it do?
like, I mean, so unforgiveness, it traps healing. It affects you in a way where your mental health is now in jeopardy, where you not have physical illness because you're in unforgiveness.
Absolutely.
It suffocates gifts. When God created us, He gave every single person here a gift and a light.
Mm-hmm.
And He gave you purpose and something to do with it. And
Indeed.
He expects a return on His investment. So when you are sitting in the seat of unforgiveness, you are literally suffocating your gifts.
Ooh.
And you want to know what else?
Hmm.
You are blocking your miracles. You are blocking your destiny.
We forget
Because a
about
lot of
that.
people think, hold on, a lot of people, right? Wait. We think that if I just sow seed, monetary seed, blessing is on the way. But
Mm-hmm.
how about you sowed it, but your heart is not right? Because the heart man is what matters.
Right.
Both. So now I sowed seed, but then I haven't repented and my heart is still jacked up, right?
Right.
My
Right.
heart is still hard and unforgiving. So that hard heart blocks
Yep.
what God is trying to get to you. Because what do we need our heart for? Confession, repenting, right? Right, for salvation.
Uh-huh.
How do we get to him without the confession?
Can't
How
do
can
it.
I confess unless I release what's in my heart? Or the ability to release what's in my heart is an act of confession.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I get what's in his hand when I won't release what's in my heart?
Right.
And then it halts momentum. That's another thing on it halts momentum. Every single person has something that they want to do, somewhere they want to go,
Yeah.
right? You should be a lot further than you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
People listening to this. You should have already launched that business. You should have already catapulted to another dimension in your ministry, in your life. So unforgiveness halts momentum. It
Absolutely.
causes a blockage. It causes a stop. Sis, I had to get that thing out my heart.
Listen.
When I realized that this is what unforgiveness did, I had to release it. Because there's no way freedom and bitterness can dwell together.
Absolutely no way.
There's no way bitterness and freedom can dwell together
No.
at all. I mean, it's like my bishop used to say, we out here holding on to hurt like you cashing it in for dollars. I'm so confused.
Right.
I'm so confused. And forgiveness is not for weak people.
No.
Forgiveness is for strong people who says, I'm giving up my right to get you back. And you are no longer accountable to me for what you did.
Right.
And the simplest is, we forgive so we can be forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of us got to check the temperature of our heart.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I think another part of that is we don't realize how being so committed to that bitterness and that
Mm.
the victimhood, and I'm not saying it in a derogatory sense. There are
Mm-hmm.
very real experiences that people are having that are traumatic,
Sure.
that are offensive, that are hurtful. Um and I'm not saying that to minimize it, but when you
Mm-hmm.
dwell, like you were saying earlier, that dwelling in that victimhood, that refusal to begin to let it go and to begin the healing process, you're finding more comfort in that than you are in Jesus. That
Mm-hmm.
that that's an issue. That's problematic. It's almost like an idolization of what was done to me. And so I'm now not even looking to the Lord anymore for comfort. I'm cozying up with this because it's easier for me to stay offended. It's easier for me to say with my mouth that I've forgiven you, but to mistreat you over something you did 10, 11, 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that is, along with all of the things that you reminded us that unforgiveness does, it's dangerous to play with that.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
very dangerous because anything that I'm taking comfort in more than the comforter is problematic. Um,
Mm.
does our forgiveness lose its efficacy when we do it like with an attitude? If I forgive you,
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does that make it
Like
ineffective?
begrudgingly.
Yeah,
Well, we can't forgive begrudgingly because that's two opposing forces
can't
trying to
both it out.
connect. Yeah. That's two opposing forces trying to connect. That's not gonna work.
Mhm.
I've been wronged and now I'm hurting and I'm hiding. Um, we have to go through this traumatic process,
Mhm.
get the help we need, or it will literally paralyze us.
Yeah.
We cannot say, I forgive you, but I now have an attitude about it. Then
Mhm.
that's not forgiveness.
It's not
That
forgiveness.
means we're emotionally unstable and we're paralyzed in areas that only God can fix, right? And does it take some people longer to forgive? Sure. But I think that the quicker we come to the realization that we have to do it, we can eliminate emotional breakdowns. Right now, we have a lot of people going through depression and
Mm.
separation and emotional breakdowns, um, which is why they're forgiving, but it's done with an attitude.
Right. You're helping us
Yeah,
'cause
I
I
mean,
hear
I
it a
hope.
lot.
I mean, because I've been there, um,
Mhm.
and there's moments where I still have to say, I have to accept where I am, process my emotions, be okay with what I'm feeling in that moment because we're human,
Mhm.
and then allow myself to experience those emotions, and then tell myself that I can't, like when my buddy says, marry this moment. Like I have to know that there's another side, there's another reality. And you want to know why so many people stay in unforgiveness? Because they haven't identified that there's another reality for them, a reality that's free, a reality that's whole, a reality that has enough, a reality that doesn't have you sitting in the seat of self-preservation forever. Because people who sit in that self-preservation hold on to these keys and these locks, and they put a fence up, a brick wall, doors where no one can get in. Because in their mind, I have to preserve everything.
Right, right, right.
And God's been saying, like, you can bring these burdens here, right? Like, you can cast them on me, right? I'm able to do anything but fail, right? But we just be wanting to hold these keys, girl.
Mhm.
We be wanting to hold these locks that belong to other people.
Right.
Why do we do that? We just want so much control
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes we don't even know what our life looks like if we don't have the control.
True.
Or so we've been so used to it that we can't even see ourselves anywhere else because we keep identifying with pain. We keep identifying with unforgiveness. We continue to identify with hurt. So if someone even brought good to you, you would still recognize it as wrong
Right.
because of the severity of the trauma that's associated with everything that's happened to you. But God's like, process this thing, baby. I got your back.
Yeah.
Like, I got your back. But are you going to allow me to enter in
Have to
to help
allow
you
it.
or bring the people to you that can help you with this thing? But it first starts with a willing mind.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with a willing mind. We have to make up in our mind, do we want to release these spiritual weapons of warfare to counteract every single attack, even the one that says convincing you to hold on to that offense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At some point, spiritual warfare has to come into play.
Right.
At some point, you have to use those weapons to counteract because the enemy really, 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 really wants to demolish and attack your faith by
Absolutely.
entering into your heart and disrupting every good and perfect thing. If he can go after your faith, everything else crumbles. Because then the humility, then you're sitting in the seat of pride,
Yep.
all these other factors that come into play. So that's why I keep saying that we need both God and then someone in the natural. We need
Mm-hmm.
a supporting mechanism in the natural to help us emotionally regulate this thing.
Right.
Yeah,
It's critical, it's crucial, it's key, it's necessary. And I
sure.
think a lot of times we're also mislabeling things and calling it forgiveness, and it's not. And so, how do you
No.
encourage the person? What do you say to the person who maybe doesn't even realize that they're walking in unforgiveness because they've mislabeled it? They're saying, you know what, I did forgive, but I did with an attitude. You don't even know that's not
Mhm,
forgiveness. Those two things don't go together. They don't
mhm.
match. It's like bitterness and forgiveness don't match. You need to interrogate some of these things and start unpacking them. How do we encourage that person? How do we help them identify it so that they can be those three things that we talked about with word association? They can be free. They can do a heart check for real. They can move forward in freedom. How do we
Sure.
do that?
So I think one of the first things is it is my job, even on my day to day, to pull people out of isolation. I got to pull you out of isolation because the enemy wants to leave you isolated, wants to leave you without weapons, wants to leave you to your own devices. So if I'm left to myself, then I'm hearing every voice but the voice, right? And then I'm so internally preoccupied that I couldn't accept a message or get a message, even if it was right in my face.
Right.
So the encouragement comes in when I line everything up in the spiritual, right? I line everything up with the word. Oh no, my Bible ain't say that. It said I'm daily loaded with benefits. I don't know what you talking about. I see, you know what I mean? Oh, your mind is all messed up. No, if any man be in Christ, he is a new. I'm new, honey. I am new.
Right.
I'm not part of the old thing.
Right.
I counteract everything with the word, and that's how you know it's the enemy. I counteract everything with the word. Oh, you don't have enough. Oh, I have all sufficiency. Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
I do. You can't be forgiven. Oh, God has given grace,
Yep.
a whole measure. So that's the spiritual part, right? And then on the natural part with the encouragement, on the natural sense of what I do day to day is I'm always making sure I'm validating people's feelings. I'm actively listening. I'm being present in the moment to understand their situation. But I'm also reminding them that even when you look at David, even David wanted to be avenged. There's plenty
Mm-hmm.
of people when you look in scripture and even in your life that we want God to avenge us, right? But that's the thing, leave it to God.
Yeah.
We have to remind people that it is not our responsibility to dish out consequences. It's our responsibility to heal, to love, to be free. It is our responsibility to live a life that's in close alignment and so much alignment with God. It is our responsibility to enjoy the fruits of what He's trying to do in
Absolutely.
us.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility to walk in purpose and in destiny. That's our responsibility, to acknowledge what our mandate is, to carry that mantle that's probably been on you for so long, but because you're in unforgiveness or you can't let things go, the mantle's on the side and the unforgiveness is in your hand. And God's like, drop that unforgiveness so you can pick up that mantle and run with it. So I tell people a lot of the times, you have to think about what you want your life to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to make those steps to get to that point. Is it going to be easy all the time? Absolutely not. We're human, right? But it can be done. I have to literally visualize myself, seeing myself in another reality. Because faith says there is another reality.
Yep.
There is another reality. And in that other reality, you're loaded with benefits. Your tree is planted and it's not withering. Your fruit comes forth in this season. You're the head and not the tail. You're the lender and you're not the borrower. You're above only and you're not beneath. You have all sufficiency. You have enough, right? You're an heir. There's so many benefits to being an heir.
So many.
Why would I sit in the seat of unforgiveness and forfeit my right to my heirship? No, 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 baby. We can't do that.
No.
We can't do that. I have too much that God's trying to get to me and release to me. Girl, I'm gonna make a hoop come out. We're not doing this. We're not doing this.
You're gonna get real quiet and still like
one of my friends told me so clearly, I know you gonna preach. I'm like, no, I'm not, buddy. No, I'm not. I promise you I'm not. We just talking. We just talking.
She's like, girl, don't make a hoop.
Girl.
I felt it.
I mean, I really, really did. Like, I'm just.
It's true though.
I'm just wanting so desperately for our brothers and especially our sisters to experience the freedom and forgiveness.
Yeah.
To experience that freedom that comes with forgiveness.
Yeah.
With giving up your right to harm someone else for what they did, not feeling justified, refusing to retaliate, right? Letting go of the bitterness that destroys people and relationships.
Yeah.
And I just really want someone to know that you can truly experience a freedom that only God can give, a joy that only God can give.
Yeah.
You just have to ask yourself, do you want to live a life that is in so much agony and pain, or do you want to live a life that feels free, rewarding, and of healing?
Yeah. It's a loaded question. We have to ask ourselves. Ooh.
Let us process.
Right. Do some deep breathing, some mindfulness. Jesus.
It's a lot, sis. It's
It
a lot.
is.
It's a lot to unpack.
I believe this is gonna help a lot of people. It helped me. Almost got that hoop. Almost.
You almost got that, girl. When I think about the grace that comes with it and the favor that comes with forgiveness, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is great. Do you have well, before we get to that, do you have anything in closing that you want to just wrap it up and tie a nice little bow on it?
I would say let forgiveness be your fragrance.
Girl.
Let forgiveness be your fragrance in this season. Your ability to forgive will release an immense amount of grace that is attached to favor. And I promise you, God truly will do exceeding and abundantly above all that we could ever
Mhm.
ask or think. That's what I would say.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Sis, I love you. This was fun.
I'm so
I
glad you
love
took some
this.
time out to spend
Of
with me
course.
on your first podcast.
Of course. It had to be you. It had to be you.
Oh my
It had to be
goodness.
you.
I'm honored.
I felt that thing here. It had to be you.
I'm honored. And that's why the let me tell you, let me
Yes.
tell y'all, all the rescheduling we had to do, the
Oh,
finagling, the moving
oh,
in and out. She's like, "Is this day good?" I'm like, "No, that one's not good for me. Is this one good for you?" "No, I can't do that one." But we finally made it,
we
and I'm
did.
so
We
thankful
did.
to you for persevering and really
Mm,
just locking in so we can get this done. I believe it's gonna bless so many people.
mm.
And I'm believing that you're going to be blessed too for yielding, for your yes, for sowing time into this little corner of this version of ministry that God has given me. I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful for you. um
Can I
how
say
can we
this? I
stay
know you're about to wrap up, sis, but it's not a little corner. It's a big room. It's definitely not a corner. It's a room. And you know what else with that room? I see the ceiling coming off. And anytime the ceiling comes off, that means it's expansion. That's it.
received?
I love you.
I love you too, sis. I do. How can we stay connected to you?
Follow me on IG, Yolanda.J.Johnson. You can follow me on TikTok, Yolanda.J. You can even check out my website. Y'all know I launched, or I don't even know if I said it in the beginning,
No.
avialyn.com, which is my
Yeah.
faith-based handbag line. I launched in 2021, and then I end up launching my lip gloss line. I'm actually wearing it now in 2022. So there's the entrepreneur side as well. You can find me on Facebook. Y'all can just find me anywhere.
Just
Or y'all
find
can just
it
ask
everywhere.
Ro. Y'all find me anywhere. Find me anywhere. DM me. Send me some love. I promise you I'll get back to you. Ro,
Absolutely.
thank you so much. This was
Thank
great.
you.
I'm so honored. You are so special to me.
Oh, you're special to me too. I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We got to do this
You're
again soon,
welcome.
okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. See you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.